Hey, so I wanted to make my video about why I think it's so important to be an individual artist instead of being a record label artist. And I think there's a bunch of factors that makes it what it is and makes it so important to me. But I think really the first place that we can start, the first place that we can look is individual artists have a freedom that record label artists do not have, right? And that's because not only do you as a record label artist have to rely on your record label, not only do you have to play by their rules, you have to play their game, you have to do what they tell you to do, the way that they tell you to do. And I know the problem is a lot of artists, when we get started for a plethora of reasons, right? It might be the joy you get from making music. It might be the ability to get things that are on your chest off of your chest and articulate yourself in a manner that you've never been able to articulate yourself in before. I just overall think that many artists start out their journey, right, their music journey, in a manner that is the most beneficial to them. And once you get once you get a record label, I don't think that you can do that any longer. I mean, you have to follow their rules, right? You may make a song about your love life. You make a song about what you're going through at home, whatever the case may be, and they might tell you that song's just not good enough. Well, that kind of screws you over a little bit, because if you put the time and effort into making that song, right, I'm assuming you didn't make a song that you didn't feel was good enough. I'm assuming you made that song because that's where you were, that's what your state of mind was on, and that's what you wanted to share with the world. And them telling you that you can no longer share that, you might be able to let that slide once, but it's only so many times that you can let that happen before you're like, you know what, at this point I can't be myself anymore, right? It's only so many times that can happen before you start to just ask the record label what they want from you instead of doing what you want for yourself. And I think that can screw over a lot of these younger artists. And that's the reason why I wanted to talk about how important it can be to be an individual artist, right? Not just because you can make more money when you're by yourself, right? Not just because you get more control over how you want to move. What I mean by that is, right, what you may want from your merch, or what you may want from your album cover, what you may want the topic of the album to be. But holistically, you just get way more freedom. You do. And I don't think that's something that a lot of people look at when they go and they actually realize that they could be a record label artist. I think when you think about joining the record label, many people only think about the monetary aspects, right? Oh, when I signing day is going to be big. They offered me $2 million. They offered me $50 million, right? Big or small can offer different amounts depending on what type of artist you are, depending on who you are and what your fan base looks like, before you get signed. But I think the overall problem is you take that $2 million to then become a lapdog. And I know that sounds harsh, but I just really think that that's the truth behind what happens there, right? They control your life in a manner that you've never been controlled before. And then on top of that, a lot of the time, what they don't tell you or what you don't know is that $2 million, that $50 million, however much they give you, they want it returned. So signing day initially feels like a big deal. It feels like, wow, I'm really stepping up in the world. I'm getting this money. I can do what I want. I'm successful now. But what you didn't realize is when you signed that deal, you signed a 360 deal or close to it. You're not making any money. You have to give them back the $2 million, the $50 million that they signed you for, right? And with how they're moving nowadays, that may come from your tours, right? So you go to your tour, you sign with the venue, you sign for whatever you're gonna get, you get whatever you get off the door, and the record label takes from that, right? You sign a TV deal, right? Prime energy drink, Gatorade, whatever the case is, right? Beats headphones, doesn't matter. the labels now have the ability to take from that. And so it's like nowadays, what used to be the dream, what used to be the goal, I can sign to this record label, and this record label will help to push me, progress me, they'll help to fund me, they'll help me get where I want to get. You start to realize that it was really never true from the beginning. For them, it was always kind of like they were playing loan shark and they didn't want you to know it. Record labels for the longest time have loaned out this money, have given out this money to artists with the goal in mind of getting it back. So much so that once they sign an artist, they may sign you and realize that you're not going to go far. And instead of trying to help you and push you to be a better artist, to be a more successful artist, you're just on to the next. See, because for them, they have enough money to where it doesn't matter how many people they give out money to. Because they might give out money to 10 people and 8 might fail. But for the 2 that do fail, they end up having to play this never-ending game of catch-up. And that's where they get you. And I just think a lot more artists should think about what they're doing, think about the implications behind where the future of their career may head if they take the money that the record label is offering. And I think once that happens, we'll start to see way more individual artists. Good news is, I think that's the reason why individual artists is trending now. I think that's the reason why many people have gone that indie route now. And I think they're starting to see success from it. It's definitely a newer wave, but we've definitely seen people that have succeeded. Big X the Plug is one. But I just think nowadays it's more possible than ever to be an individual artist, but it's also more respected than ever. And once you look at both sides, I think you kind of run into the question of why wouldn't you be an independent artist? But that's just my take.